Hello and welcome. Hopefully you guys are having a great day and you're keeping your vibration high, eating clean food, keeping your I'm going to say your mental health well. I know that it's a pretty intense time for people, and hopefully this 30 minutes will brighten up your day. Obviously somebody invited you on this call today so that you guys could learn a little bit more about the tower gardens. It's a pretty hot topic right now, is growing your own food and food security. And I'm going to be your guest speaker, Nicole Scott. I'm a holistic nutritionist. I have been with the Juice Plus company for 15 years. They are the makers of the Tower Garden. And I am going to just jump right into a presentation for you guys. Right here. Hold on, share. There we go. Okay. So from beginning, there we go. Okay, there we go. Monica, I can see you in my screen. Can you give me a thumbs up if you see my presentation? Awesome. Okay, thanks. Okay, let's dive in. So we're going to be talking about the Tower Garden today by Juice Plus. I found this picture today. This was my first Tower Garden back in 2012. Oh my gosh, and look at my hair. It was dark, not gray. Anyways, I remember this day. I remember it had, I think it had arrived at our doorstep. My 8-year-old actually followed the instructions and actually built it herself. And we described it as adult Lego. It took her about 30 minutes to build, and it was a really good thing because I'm not good with instructions. So one of the biggest questions that we get is it easy to put together? And I say, if my 8-year-old can figure it out, you can figure it out. So I want to show you and introduce you to back in 2012. This was actually my garden. I had a soil garden. We lived on 3 acres. And I loved, as a nutritionist, you know, high quality food. I wanted to know where my food was coming from. But I had this one tower garden. I really didn't know what to expect. I was kind of a little skeptical, I'll be honest with you. I was like, is it going to produce good food? How fast is it going to grow? You know, all these kind of common questions that you probably guys have right now as you're watching that. So that's where I started. And then what happened is I started to have a really positive experience with my first tower garden. And my husband at the time, we got into this little competition, and he wanted his own tower garden. So we had a his and her tower garden war, and we wanted to see who could do the better tower garden. And that eventually turned into us having 16 tower gardens just outside of Uxbridge, Ontario. And for years, we sold our organic produce to the farmers market, which we were very proud of. It was a passion, it was a hobby. Trust me, farmers don't make a lot of money. We found out right away that you're just doing it for really, you know, pennies, but you do it because you love and you want to help people get good quality food. And it was great because our daughters at the time, they were 8 and 10, and they were able to join us at the farmers market and sell this amazing produce. What was so passionate for me is that when we were to take a tower garden out, a plant out of the tower garden, the root system we kept intact. We put it in a bag with some of the water and the minerals, and that customer could take it back to their fridge, and that plant was still alive. And that was very, very rare to see at a farmer's market, because typically it gets cut from the mother root and then it gets to the farmer's market. So we had a very, very unique product, and we still have that today. Where, you know, you're literally eating live produce right out of your tower garden. Okay, so let's dive in. The tower garden definitely is the future of growing. I saw that vision after I had a positive experience. And what I learned over the years is that it uses 98% less water, 90% less space, 30% more yield, 3 times faster it grows, and it's safe and nutritious. So how cool is that? So on the right is the Tower Garden Flex. That's where I started 8 years ago. It's a bigger unit. It has a 20-gallon container at the bottom. So it's really, really good for outdoor growing. And then on the other side is our brand new Tower Garden Home, which we just launched in January. So it is a smaller unit. It is only 13 gallons of water. and you purchase a grow light with it so you can actually grow it inside all year round. So again, quality control. I actually have my Tower Garden Flex with grow lights on it right now. My water's running, I can hear it. And I've been growing my own plants indoors for the last 8 years. And then when the nice, lovely sunshine comes in, and hopefully soon in May, my 3 tower gardens that I own will go outside. And those 3 towers will more than feed my family for the summer and into the fall. I don't know about the tower garden. And we've added, so these new really cool lights just came into our world about 6 months ago. They're amazing. You can stretch them, make them longer. They really create speed when growing the plants. And then we have this really cool microgreens. So if you understand what microgreens are, they're mini kind of sprouted plants that have a ton of intense nutrition. If you've ever gone to a fancy restaurant, you'll oftentimes will see these mini micro sprouts. The whole point of them is to have an intense amount of concentrated nutrition in a small plant. And so that is an option for people, is to do the microgreens on top of your tower garden unit, which is really, really cool. So why use a tower garden? Let's go into that. So definitely the lack of water availability in some areas that's happening around the world. The tower garden saves 90% water because it recycles. It actually has a fish tank pump in the bottom, and so it's on a timer, and every 15 minutes, and that's what my timer set up, the roots of the plants get watered. We have environmental changes going on. We have increases in food costs. I don't know if you guys watched the news in Canada yesterday, but they were telling us that our food costs, especially our vegetables, we are planning to see at least a 4% increase in our food costs, if not higher. So tower garden can be used year round in different weather, which is awesome. I love the fact that, you know, here we deal with transportation costs to your produce because it's coming from different parts of the world. This is really tower to table. It's quick and easy. It extends the growing season. So if you're a gardener or you're used to just getting fresh produce locally, now you can get it all year with the control of growing it in your own home. We're also dealing with depleted quality and soil of food today. The tower garden has constant nutrient supply. So the earth minerals that we are using, you add in every time you fill your water tank. So the plants are getting an amount of balanced nutrition from earth minerals, all natural. Of course, we're dealing with GMO issues around the world. The tower garden uses non-GMO seeds. I encourage my customers just to go to your favorite place, either online or locally, that sells organic seeds, so that you can get a more diversified variety. Because when we send you the kit, you get basil, tomato, cucumber, and a couple different lettuces. And that will get you definitely started. I was just locally at my Vince's. It's this kind of a small fruit and vegetable market, and they were starting to sell organic seeds about a month ago. So I loaded up on a bunch of organic seeds from them. So you can go to any organic seed supplier and purchase them for the tower. And then there's the food safety, right? How much herbicides and pesticides are being sprayed on our plants today. You know, it says organic. Is it organic? I hope it's organic, because I do buy organic as much as I can. But, you know, we always go, who knows? It's coming from Mexico. What are their standards? And then, of course, you know, there's the long-term fertilizers, Roundup, you know, all of that stuff that we, you know, as concerned parents think about. And with the tower garden nutrients, it's all natural, inorganic, ionic minerals from the deep in the earth. So families on average use about 100 gallons of water daily. 2 billion gallons water is wasted daily, drips, leaks, irrigation. And the great thing about the tower garden is it uses very little water. Food deserts are increasing, so they're limited access to fresh food, and the tower garden provides this ability for families to grow safe food. Only 3.2% of Canadian land can be used to growing crops, and the tower garden only uses less than 3 square feet of space. So it just allows you to be in control of your own food supply. So the people who eat, people eat more veggies, and food is readily available and convenient. It's clinically proven that kids who grow their own veggies eat more of them, and that's definitely true. We saw that with our own kids. The higher intake of plants reduce disease and chronic illness, and that's been proven by science over and over again. I love that it just helps build awareness in families and communities. It starts a great conversation. And it's just such an inspiration to be part of a mission of inspiring healthy living around the world. So some of the points to note, the research that was done at the state of Michigan, which is one of the top horticultural universities in the world, it showed that the tower garden grows more food quickly than soil and with no loss of nutrient value. And that was huge for me because that was part of my skepticism. You know, I was already doing a soil garden, so I was like, really, can the tower garden be, as good than my soil garden? And the research that was done, and it was, gold standard, showed, and this was the best topsoil that, they could be using. And the reality was it was equal in nutrition. And I'm thinking the average person that gardens does probably not come close to the quality of soil that they were using in the study. So I would say that most of the time the tower garden is going to be a more nutritious option than the soil garden that you're using in your backyard. You're able to harvest your food at its peak ripeness, right? Vine ripen. It helps decrease your shopping and food waste. Do you know how much waste we have in Canada? $31 billion a year that we waste and we throw out. And a lot of it is fruits and veg. And the great thing about the tower garden, because I get this question all the time, Nicole, oh my gosh, it seems so expensive. And I'm like, you recoup the cost of your tower garden in less than a year because you're growing all year. And then you have, and they're predicting that this product will last at least 25 years, if not longer. So I've had mine for 8 years. So the payout has been incredible. I love the fact that it's self-sustainable and eco-friendly. It uses 90% less water. It can grow anywhere between about 28 to 52 plants, depending on the extension kits that you get, whether it's the regular extension kit or the microgreens. It grows 3 times faster than normal soil garden. It's low cost to maintain. I love that there are no weeds. I am a lazy gardener. I found that out my first year when I had a soil garden. I did not like to weed. And I think what convinced my husband at the time when we decided to buy 16 towers was we had calculated one summer that we had spent 23 days weeding. And we went, that's a waste of time. So we jumped in and said, no more weeding. We have excellent customer care at our corporate office in Mississauga, and lots of online support to help you get started. And I like to say it's beyond organic. Not only are you using the organic seeds, you're not spraying anything on it, you know exactly where it comes from. And I will answer questions at the end. If you've got questions that come up, just put it in the chat section and I will go back and answer them for you guys. Okay, so inspiring healthy giving. This is what excites me. I ask the question all the time to my my friends and partners that share, tower gardens in the world, is how do you use the tower garden to give back? There's a lot of people that have money that are giving back, which is awesome. So we have these in homeless shelters, areas in food deserts. Our company, the Juice Plus company, has gifted every single Boys and Girls Clubs of Canada and in the United States free tower gardens. So in Canada, that represents 90 free tower gardens, teaching our young kids where and how to grow. Outreach centers, a lot of our community has started school growing programs. My question is, where and how would you want to give back in your community? I know that there's a few ladies here from Ottawa that have been doing such a fantastic job. They have partnered with a very wealthy individual that wanted to do something good to the schools in Ottawa. So I think it's Becky, a 5-year commitment to have a tower garden in every single school in Ottawa. Is that correct? I think that's the number. One of my favorite parties that I like to have is a salad in a jar party, inviting some people over into the community and showing what it looks like to eat more plants and right off of your tower garden. Some of the common questions that I do get is the Tonic organic. Tonic is all natural, inorganic, ionic minerals from the earth, and it's tested for heavy metals. I also get the question, it can't be as good as growing in the dirt. I think I've already answered that because of the study. But the ionic minerals are exactly what roots are looking for when growing in soil, and we make sure that's in the water. So why no dirt? We use the water to deliver the nutrients. So that's called hydroponics, which has been around a very long time. This is a type of technology that NASA uses actually. Is this PVC pipe material? So the material is NASA created. It's a high density polycarbonate and UVA and B protected to last for decades, and there's no leaching. How fast does it grow? I get this question all the time. This is just a visual to see day 7, day 14, day 21, and day 28. You're pretty much at a pretty good sized tower where you're actually growing off of it. So if you ended up getting your towers within the next week, you could be successfully eating off it by early May. I'm just going to show you some of my favorite examples of what these tower gardens have been doing for the world. This is probably one of our first farms we ever had, which was actually in the Chicago airport. I've been to Chicago airport a couple times, seen these beautiful tower gardens. They're commercial tower gardens, so they're a lot taller, usually 11 or higher containers. Typically in the home, we're about 5 to 7, just to give you an example of the difference. But here, for I think 7 years, this farm has serviced over 60 of the restaurants for fresh vegetables to serve people, which is, I think, just so amazing. Think of the footprint we're leaving. This is one of my friend's farms, Jeff Olson. He lives in Colorado with his wife, Tony, and they've been working on this project for 3 years. It's called the Altius Farms, and it's all year round, and you can see how big it is. I think it's one of the largest tower garden farms in all of the United States. And these are the type of farms that are starting to show up so that we can feed families locally without the footprint and without the transportation. So pretty exciting. In Canada, we're starting to see some farms pop up, which is awesome. This one isn't too far from us if you're in my area of Uxbridge. This is located outside of Buckhorn, Ontario. And they have about 50 plus tower gardens growing there, and they service a lot of the restaurants and even grocery stores, which is really exciting. We also have a farm out in BC that has been set up called the JES Urban Farms, and there will continue to be more farms showing up so that we can offer this technology and awesome solution for people. There are restaurants that have been jumping on board. This one is in New York City. They have about 40 towers on the rooftop, and again, that's the chef there, and he goes up, he cuts, look at the size of those zucchinis, and goes and gets his fresh vegetables and then right to table. So the Juice Plus company is a company that has put the tower gardens together. Let me see here. They started 50 years ago, the company has been around. In the last 26 years, they have focused on a product called the Juice Plus. And the Juice Plus is fruits, veg, and berries in a capsule. So they've done the juicing for us and worked with farms in North America. And that's what I was attracted to 15 years ago, was to help my clients add more fruits and veg. They have a plant-based shake and an omega. And then, of course, the tower garden came out 8 years ago. So this is kind of our product line. It's all about adding more plant-based nutrition to family. And in a time where we are unsure of, our food supply and quality, I can't tell you how more passionate than ever I am to be partnered with a company that has a vision for a necessity for people, and that's what we have. Cost-wise, the tower garden starts at about $750 for a complete kit to be delivered to your doorstep plus tax. We do have a monthly installment plan with an interest-free program. So if somebody is really, really wanting this, we can put you on an installment plan around $70 a month, and you pay that for a year, and then that tower garden is all yours. I like this quote. My grandfather used to say that once in your life you need a doctor, a lawyer, a preacher, but every day, 3 times a day, you need a farmer. So we invite you to join us. You can become a Juice Plus customer, whether you decide to purchase a tower garden or some of our complimentary products. Some of you may be interested and are already thinking about, I know a number of people that could benefit from knowing about your products. You could become a partner out of the gates. Investment is $52 a year to actually have an account. And then you can start to share this with other people and make retail sales back right away. So that is an option. I like to say it's almost like a Costco membership. That's where I started 15 years ago. I just wanted a discount on my product. That's where I started. I paid my yearly, fee, and I started to get a rebate back. And that's where a lot of people decide to start, because a lot of people today are trying to save money, and who doesn't like a rebate? And then there's the third option, which is to build a side income. And I'm going to talk about this because I know right now in my circle, in my community, there is a lot of people that have been laid off. There's a lot of people that are having to go on unemployment insurance, and there's a lot of unknown. And I am proud to say that we do have an opportunity and a fast track program where we can put in about 60 days at least $1,000+ in your bank account if you follow a system that we can show you how. And I share that being proud because I know today that we're helping a lot of people bring in some extra money right now by sharing these tower gardens. And it just gives me so much pride.